Welcome to soulspaceradio. All rights reserved. No part of this broadcast may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any electronic or mechanical means without the presenter's written permission. The presenters do not dispense medical advice or prescribe the use of any technique as a form of treatment for physical, emotional, or medical problems. The intent of the presenters is to only offer information of a general nature to help you in your quest for emotional and spiritual well-being.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Soul Space Radio. Right, so today we're continuing on with our theme of movement. And some of you have been asking me to give a little bit more background about myself in terms of why I've come to this position and why I'm doing a series of advanced active meditations. So let me answer that for you. For those of you who don't know me, I am really logical based and quite analytical, and my career and background has been very focused on push, very, very male orientated, and I mean that symbolically, I mean that esoterically, and what I mean by that is that the male side of all of us, each and every one of us has female and male energy, and the male aspect of ourselves is very logic based. It tends to be in mental space, and so for most of my life I was in mental space, just all about actions and outcomes and getting stuff done. And I guess I kind of reached I had a whole lot of personal things happen. I was on IVF for a number of years to try and have my son, and I'm certain that was due to stress-related issues. And I was working a number of jobs. I was working from home, but I had a number of different businesses that I was looking at managing. And I got into a really horrible space, just really angry, frustrated, just highly stressed. I just wasn't doing anything that I enjoyed, and I was pushing, and I had so many things to achieve in such a limited time. I became very driven, very time-bound, and all of those male characteristics of control and internal criticism and judgment and just pushing, and there's nothing wrong with our intellect, there's nothing wrong with the male, but when its natural position will be to defend yourself, and so if it's not balanced with female aspects or it's not connected with source, then it can get out of control. And our society is very logic based, it's very analytical, and you see this with children all the time when they start to go to school and they start to rationalize certain behaviors based on logic, not so much on feelings. And that's improving, because we're becoming all, certainly in the spiritual world, and thank goodness, we're all becoming very focused on heart-centric lifestyles. So we understand the value in both. And in fact, if you want to connect to source, it's the feminine that leads. It's the divine feminine. And the female represents, symbolizes things like passive, emotions, creativity, all those types of things. So you've obviously got to have them in balance and working together. And in fact, the female leads and the male comes behind. Okay? So the really interesting thing for me is that I just got into a really bad place. That was really nasty. And I remember sitting on a plane going to a friend's wedding. And I had, by this stage, been on IVF for a number of years. Very, very blessed to have my son. And then I had multiple miscarriages. I think I had 6 in total. So, and the last time that I was pregnant, I miscarried when I went over when I was coming back actually from the wedding. But the stress, I just remember sitting on that plane and I just wanted to keel over, and my stomach was really tight, my brow was sweating. I was so stressed out about, I couldn't really enjoy the holiday because all I was worried about was what I hadn't done that needed to be done. And it was a very destructive way of life, because I was applying way more pressure on myself than anyone else was. And yeah, I had no self-esteem. And I was really pushing myself, and I didn't like who I was, and I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. And so, you know, it was not a good position to be in. And I made a decision when I came back when I came back from the holiday and I miscarried on the plane. I didn't miscarry on the plane, but I was miscarrying while on the plane. I just felt that, like, it sort of opened up a world for me, and that in that experience, it just opened up a spiritual situation, and I guess it's what you would call a spiritual emergency. And I realized, or I had an awareness of things outside of this space, outside of third dimension, and it was shadowy, it wasn't specific, but it wasn't pleasant because of the vibration I was at. Like, I understood at the time, I just knew intuitively that what I saw or what I felt was just simply a reaction to the way that I felt within. So then I'm really, by character, I'm a really curious person. And so then I understood, okay, so if I go into the situation, if I see these things and feel that this is not a good situation, and feel that what I'm seeing and feeling is not good for me, then what will happen if I raise my vibration? If I raise the way that I feel, if I feel positive feelings and then look outside of the third dimension, what actually happens then? So it put me on the path, and in that I became, I did my own individual journey, and I think I believe spirituality is an individual journey, and you just take what resonates with whatever people say or think. You just take whatever resonates and you live your life according to that. And what I mean, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's not important to you, and you might not be at the right place, right time to actually have that add value to you. So it was an individual journey, and I just started on a self-discovery of spirituality. Reading books, started off with self-development, affirmations, those sorts of things, and then quickly realized that, again, that's using a lot of your male energy, and to get into that intuitive place, you have to come from the divine feminine. So then I learnt, I was passionately interested in meditations, and I do an hour to an hour and a half of meditation. I have done every day for 8 years, and I don't think change or transformation needs to take that long. I think it was just my journey. I think it can be instantaneous, and in certain areas it was. And now I'm at the point where I'm effectively just guided by source. So none of these meditation, coming to this meditation series, none of which is actually, some of it comes to me when I'm meditating myself on a daily basis, and I get this awareness, but all of it is directly related to me via source. And all of it's intuitive. None of it's pre-planned or programmed. You know, I might program a theme, but then I just get all the information through source. So it truly is a channeled thing, and I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy sharing it with you, because I think you'll find added value. If you're here, you're going to find value out of this, and you're here for a reason and a purpose. Okay. So that's the background, and that's why I'm so passionate about these active meditation series, because they don't just use male energy and they don't just use female energy. Just remember, feminine energy is passive in nature, and meditation is passive. In other words, there's no action in it, so to speak. So here in these meditations, we're actually actively transforming energy. We're leveraging off energy from feelings and transforming that into our life. So we're actually active, but we're actually leading with the female. We're doing it in a passive environment. We're connecting to source. We're sharing love and feelings. It's all feelings-based. We're creating in this space, and then we're transforming that energy in an active way into our life. So it's all really, really positive. And the male energy is supporting the female energy to assist us both in connection with source and into transforming our lives. So that gives you a really good snapshot about why I'm doing this. Okay, so any further questions? If you've got any further questions about why I'm doing this, what led me to this, my story, anything like that, just send me an email at soulspaceradio@ep12.com, and I'd be happy to answer more. Okay, so let's go on to the second in our movement series. This meditation, so what's the story around the movement meditations is that when I go into my meditative space, which is very similar to this, imagination-based and feelings, connect with source imagination-based feelings, when I go into that space, I just get put into situations by source, and I just run with it and play with it and see where it will take me. And this is where these movement meditations have come out. So all of these things that I'm talking about in this movement series have actually happened, but the meditation that I do with you today is completely intuitive. I don't know what the content is other than an overarching concept. So today I want to look at the physicality of movement, that how you in your meditative space, how your consciousness moves, your physical being, or your physical being is part of your consciousness. Remember, mind, body, and soul. So your consciousness, mind, body, and soul then connects with source, and then you go into situations, imagination-based situations, and you use your physical being. You move in physical ways, and not only this imprints on your subconscious, and it imprints on your cells because you're moving in a way that you're not familiar with. But in doing so, you are actually raising your consciousness. You're expanding your consciousness about beyond what you could actually achieve in this dimension. Okay, and I hope that makes sense, because by doing that, you're actually the whole reason, I believe, that one of the fundamental reasons we're on this planet and that we live and survive is to grow and expand our consciousness. And so this is really important for us to expand and play and understand there's no limitations. Limitations, stereotypes, and being boxed will actually constrain and contain you in this life. And I think a lot of life is about challenging those and expanding yourself beyond those, okay? This is a completely safe environment to do that. Okay, so remember, this is always acting. This is my intention. It's always to act in terms of your highest good. It's connection with source. It will only ever act in your highest good. It's divine love. So completely safe and trusted in this space. Okay, so today, let's talk about the theme today. So now I want to talk to you about teleporting, and then I want to explain what I mean by that. So we're going to look at the concept of teleporting, which is moving seamlessly from one point in time and space to another point in time and space, okay, without any really distinction of the time between. So we'll do that both based in Earth, and we can do that galaxy-wide, and we'll just let it intuitively flow from there. Okay, so one of the most important things to connect with source is to be relaxed. I have my mandatory sip of cup of tea. It seems to help me. And we're going to see a pole of bright white light from the base chakra running up through your spine and out through your crown chakra, out through the top of your head. Now, if you're aware of chakras are energy centers. I won't get into detail as to what they are, but if you Google chakras on the internet, Chakras, you will find, or something like that, AS, you will find a lot of information about chakras. There's already a lot of information that exists out there. If you're aware of them, or even just have an intention of them, of cleansing them and energizing them to the highest good of yourself, then that will happen. So just see a brilliant pole of bright white light from the base chakra out through your crown chakra, energizing and releasing any blockages within your chakras. Okay, so closing eyes, brilliant, bright, white pole of divine love light. Any light, any colour you intuitively wish. For me, it is bright, white, golden light. So just see it from the base chakra. You might feel warm. You can see a ball of white golden light, and then run that up to the top of your head, out through your crown chakra, and all the way up to connect with all that is. And then just see that as a leaving behind a pole of divine, bright love light. Straight up through your spine, out through your base chakra, cleansing and energizing any chakras to your highest good, and then moving your consciousness up into the cosmos, up the pole and into the cosmos, till you connect with all that is. All that is, being in the middle of the cosmos, suspend yourself, and you are just surrounded by divine white love light. Pure love. Pure divine love light. Now, if you want to, you can see the love light evolve into a form, whatever form that you want that to be, that's up to you. And you can see it come towards you and interact with you, hug you, whatever you like. But the whole point of this exercise is to dissolve into all that is, to become one with all that is, one with God, Source, Universe, whatever you like to call it. And we do that by seeing ourselves in divine white love light, and then seeing your cells become transparent with this love light. So see yourself a light with this light. Every single cell is becoming a light. And let yourself dissolve into this brilliant white light. So there's no distinction between your body or it. You become a transparency to the light. Look down at your body and you'll just notice that you've dissolved into all that is, and it's just brilliant divine love light. And feel loved. Feel joy. Feel abundance. Feel freedom. All of those exhilarating, high vibrational frequencies, energy, feelings, wholeness, oneness, joy, love, abundance, freedom. And now what I want you to do is just to take that divine love light energy further into yourself and relax further into it. Take 3 deep breaths, breathing in the divine white love light all around you. And then hold it within you and just see every single cell of your body radiating this divine white love light. And then breathe out through your heart. And then in again. Divine white love light. It's knowing that all that is, knowing that God is everywhere and everything. Breathe that in. Feel every cell in your body aglow with this divine love light. And out through your heart. And in. Divine love light. Every cell in your body. And then just start. Breathe out through every cell and see yourself glowing. And then like a switch or like a dial, like a dimmer dial, just turn the light up. More and more and more radiant. And you might feel warmth when you do this. And then just feel the feelings of love, peace, harmony, abundance, joy, gratitude, appreciation. And settle in this feeling. If it's easier for you to feel just one thing, just feel one with love. Feel one with all it is. And just see yourself dissolved into all that is. Feel the love and radiate. Radiate the light. And when your heart feels full of the feeling and you feel at peace and you feel like you have dissolved into all that is, when you're ready, let's go back to a place on earth Let's go to the Sydney Opera House. So I'm Australian, or I'm in Australia at the moment. I was actually born in New Zealand, but let's go to the Sydney Opera House. I think most people in the world will know where that is. If you don't, Google it. And stand in the front, just land in the front of the Sydney Opera House. Smell the water. It's right on the foreshore. Smell the salt water. See the boat. Hear the boats. You can hear boats hooting. Cars moving in Sydney. Traffic. Pedestrian noise. And when you've embodied yourself in this space, in other words, when you feel like you are in this space, physically, look down to see your body physically planted in this space, just outside the main entrance of the Sydney Opera House. And then I want to close your eyes, count to 5, and transport yourself from this place to in front of the Eiffel Tower. Open your eyes, and you're at the Eiffel Tower. Feel the grass beneath your feet. See the steel structure in front of you. Hear the people walking by, hear the traffic in the background. Feel the weather. It feels warm to me. I believe it's summer over there. Winter here, so it's usually opposite in the northern hemisphere from the southern. Okay, when you're fully embodied in this place, actually you can sit down in the grass. Now when you become practiced at this, you can also imagine yourself maybe tasting the cuisine. So you could see yourself with the croissant or hot chocolate. And don't be afraid of going to places that you've never been before. If you want to make the experience more validated in terms of real to appease your logic mind, then I would suggest that you Google it and have a look at the picture. And then have a look at how people are interacting around you, because all of it's very interesting. And there can be subsequent things that happen in these spaces for a reason. People may talk to you. You may have objects in your hands. You may have changed your clothing. Just note it all. Just not focusing on why, what, who, how. Just observe it intuitively. Just let it roll with you. Just note that you'll remember it. Okay, now let's go to Washington, D.C. and stand outside the White House. We'll stand outside the fence of the White House. And we'll feel the press around us, the pedestrians and the traffic. Even some helicopter noise or aircraft noise. Hear the wind. Blowing in some trees. Hear the leaves rustle. You can turn around and just take note of what's going on around you. It's just an interesting, fun exercise. Okay, and so when you've imagined or enjoyed enough of that space, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to feel the feelings of love, harmony, and peace, and reflect that out of your heart into the White House. Love, harmony, and peace for the highest good of the American citizen. And direct that into the White House. And what we're going to do now is we're going to jump to Moscow. Just the main Moscow temples. Beautiful. Big round domes. It's colder here. And what I want you to do is just stand outside the steps of the entrance to the temple. And again, we're just going to flood Moscow with peace, harmony, and love. All the people, extend it to the whole country, and in fact, extend that energy to all the places you've been today. And just feel love, harmony, and peace ripple across the planet. And let's jump up to Alaska. Let's go to the city of Anchorage. I've not been there. So I don't know, but just imagine ourselves in Alaska. At this time of year, I believe it's summer, so it'll be cold or cool, but less snow, maybe snow-capped mountains, beautiful green grasses, lush, and feel the wilderness. Stand there in high grass, remote region in front of a lake, mountains all around us. And just feel the pristine beauty and the remoteness and the wildness of this place, the freedom. And send out love and harmony and peace to all the animals and inhabitants of Alaska. And then take energy in. Feel Alaska give back to you the feeling of freedom. Being at one with nature. Looking at nature thrive in its natural state. And then when you felt that feeling, when you felt truly free and wild, then take that feeling and pour it down the white light pole directly below your feet into your body on the third dimension, down through your head, through all parts of your body, straight down and into the ground, leaving waves of divine love light energy, white light. You can change the color if you wish. You could make it a light blue color. Just remember that when we send energy down straight out through our feet, that is in the now. It will go. The now can access the past and the present. So the sense of freedom and the feeling of freedom and the exhilaration of freedom and the expansion of freedom will all be felt in the now and will go to where you most need it, both in the past and in your future. Thus changing and repaving your future and changing your past. And you can just see the light ripple out from your feet. Meanwhile, you're still in fifth dimensional space. You're still pouring energy down from Alaska. And what I want you to do is, when you felt like you've flowed the feeling of freedom, when you've absorbed what you need, I want you to give thanks and be grateful for this experience. And know that you can be anywhere that you want to be at any point in time in the space. And we can jump from Alaska into the galaxy, into the middle of the cosmos. What appears to be deep space, black with stars all around us, other planets, suns. And we feel like we're at the center of the universe and everything is moving around us. And if you wish to play further, you can continue on and visit whichever planet or galaxy that you wish. And again, feel the expansiveness, feel the freedom. Feel the lack of judgment. Understand unlimited possibility. And feel this feeling of freedom around unlimited possibility and ultimate opportunity. And pour that feeling down the divine love-like pole all the way down to your third dimensional self. Give it a color, whatever color you want, whatever color comes intuitively. Give that feeling color and pour it down into yourself, into the crown chakra, down through your body and out through your feet. Into the now. And then just see it ripple from your feet out into the planet. And this is sheer exhilaration. Freedom from slavery. This is empowerment. Unlimited opportunity. Feel the power in that. Feel what it is like to be truly free. And then when you've ready, when you've transformed those feelings into yourself in the third dimension, into the now, down the white light pole, out through your feet, see it like ripples in the pond, energy coming out from your feet and just rippling over the planet. Know that this will transform your now and your future and your past to your highest good. And just revel in this feeling of freedom and exhilaration and expansion. This is the beauty of being at one with all that is. In a small way, we can sense the power of all that is, of intelligent consciousness. In everything, everywhere, pure love. Give gratitude and thanks for this experience, and when you're ready, this time you can teleport directly from yourself in the middle of the cosmos into yourself in the third dimension. And once you have cemented yourself in the third dimension, you might feel what you're sitting on. You might listen to the sounds in the room, hear the clock ticking. You might hear the traffic. You become aware of what is going on. But you know that you've been somewhere because in your meditative space you weren't aware of any of these things. Just know that we have given feeling and taken feeling and transformed that into energy and utilized that for the highest good of all. We're explorers and pioneers on a new journey, a journey into spirituality. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Wow. That was amazing. It was a really powerful, I keep saying powerful all the time, but I don't really know how else to describe it. It's almost like our language doesn't actually have the tools that best describe that intense feeling of empowerment, and expansion. And so, yeah, it's just the most amazing experience. You have to do this to truly understand it and to get the benefit out of it. It's like everything in life. We can talk about the theory, but we have to do it. We have to do it. And you can do it both intuitively and actively. So I don't think I've talked so much in the front about my story and background and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't really feel like there's a need at this point in time to talk too much more. Love your feedback. Please send your feedback to me via email, soulspaceradio@bigpond.com, or you can private message on the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/soulspaceradio@bigpond.com. Soulspaceradio. Goodness me. Let me do that again. www.facebook.com/soulspaceradio. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. I think this is just, as we evolve, this is just getting more and more powerful, and you are really understanding about how you can utilize meditation, how it's very individual, and you can just play and experiment and play with Source, play with God. Fantastic, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Love you lot.